Viral videos. One such video that I created was one where I made a very big Starbucks drink. It went viral, and I got a lot of telephone calls from local radio stations, from Good Morning America, from the Diane Sawyer show, you name it, they were calling me. And what's sad about this is they weren't calling me because of really some big physical feat or grand accomplishment, or because I had won the Nobel Peace Prize. No, it's because I made the world's most expensive Starbucks drink. I'm sure there are bigger Starbucks drinks, but this was the most expensive. And as you know, with every project I do, whether it's a video or whether it's a school project or even if it's a work project, I step back and I ask myself, how can I make this different from other people? Because people want to see different. Life can be so boring when you go about life doing what everybody else is doing. Branch out a little, people. So that's what my mentality was when I thought, I'm going to try to break the record for the world's most expensive Starbucks drink. And the previous record, because they're not really records, we're just making this up as we go, but the previous record was this fellow who had his drink come to a total of $23, and I wanted to double that, which I did. I doubled that by, oh boy, well, I did so much homework. A little background on how I created this video, if you're curious. I sought out a few of my friends who work at Starbucks, and I designed this drink recipe where I packed in the most expensive ingredients. Did I just say ingredients? Ingredients. What's a gradient, Beau? Well, it's an ingredient that hasn't been placed in the dish yet. Well, let's see, I think it was 48 shots of coffee. And you're maybe wondering, how can you fit that many shots in? Well, I got them ristretto, which means it's only the top half of the shots placed in the drink. Now, I had a big problem, mainly their cups could not fit 48 shots. And so I went to Goodwill and I purchased a big travel mug, the biggest one I could find. It was like a Slurpee cup, but it was still technically a coffee mug. And so I wasn't just bringing in an aquarium. That would be unfair to bring in like a garbage can and say, fill up the garbage can. Oh, it's a Starbucks drink. No. This wasn't a vase. This wasn't a cooler. This was a real mug. And because of that, I actually got a 10-cent discount. At least I hope they applied the 10-cent discount. If not, it's a drop in the bucket. Or rather, a drop in this giant mug. And I got this mug and I hollowed out the inside because it was a double wall to keep it insulated. And so I took out the inside wall to give myself even more space. And I measured it and it came to about 52 ounces. Yeah, that's a lot of ounceage right there. And I was there with Lucy, actually, and she is not shown in the video, but a little behind the scenes, she was in her car seat down below the counter, and so I had to make this really quick before she started crying or anything like that. So yeah, a little known fact, there was Lucy. She was actually, maybe you can even hear her squawk in the video. She's adorable. And so I also, in all of this research, I put a lot of research into this. I didn't want to be a jerk, so I actually contacted all these Starbucks people, and I was like, okay, what's the best time of day to come in so I don't, step on other people's toes? Like, what is your rush so that I don't come in during the rush? So they counseled me on that. They counseled me on the ingredients. I said, what about tips? I don't want to be a jerk going about this thing. And they're like, well, most Starbucks locations don't accept tips, so consider getting them something that is still a thank you, but not a tip, like a monetary tip. So I and a dozen fresh donuts, and I gave that to them as a thank you. And they were very appreciative. And And so all of these people who saw this video when it went viral, there was a lot of negative feedback. It was so funny how angry some people got. This one person actually said, "How dare you film such trivial content? Why don't you go to Africa and apply your video skills for good?" I kid you not, they actually said this. And I was like, no, they're kidding, because in case you don't know, I did go and I lived in Africa for 6 months where I filmed charities, and I volunteered. I paid the whole thing myself, and through my family and friends, they helped support me. So these people, these trolls out there, are trying so desperately to just be these Napoleon Dynamites. I'm not impressed. This is stupid. So many people asked, did you drink the whole thing? That was probably the most frequently asked question, which I don't know why. It's like, do you really think that's what the point is? Getting a 52-ounce drink with 48 shots? Did you drink the whole thing? But oh well, they didn't know that the past 50 people had just asked me that. So I said, made up a joke of some kind, like, yes, but I got halfway through the drink and had to be in the ER because my heart was going like this. Yeah. So this drink, it was so much fun getting on radio shows and having the Dory Monson show here in Seattle call me and saying, "Hey, would you be available at 11 a.m.? I said, sure, and I was on so many talk shows, and I wanted so badly to say, come on, people, I put all of this work into these other videos, these short films, this meaningful stuff. I go to Africa to film this awesome content that just moves you to tears, and yet I get 500,000 views in a week over a video that is about a Starbucks drink? Really? Oh man, but I don't feel bad for making it, because one thing that I learned in theater a long time ago, some people get distracted with making content or performances or videos or photography, and they get wrapped up in it, in the meaning, how to make it meaningful. And they don't stop to think for a moment that sometimes the purpose of making a video or a theater project is simply entertainment. You may think that that's trivial, and yes, it is trivial compared to other things, but entertainment is a completely valid reason for making a video. So when all these people, mock you for being like, oh, you have too much time on your hands. Oh boy, how many times have you heard that, or have I heard that? Hundreds upon hundreds of times. You have too much time on your hands. It's because I do different projects, and people usually find them entertaining. And why do I do it? To entertain people. Sometimes to teach a lesson, sometimes sometimes it's selfish. I want to get these memoirs and awesome adventures out of my mind onto video, like with these memoirs that I'm doing. But for the most part, it's entertainment, and I hope that you all find this rather entertaining. These funny stories. So don't let people mock you. Stand up for what you do. Continue making those irreverent YouTube videos.